A photograph went viral on social media recently showing former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir sitting in a living room surrounded by leaders from the then opposition parties from UMNO and PAS, as well as former PKR Deputy President Azmin Ali. In a video published on Facebook this afternoon, Dr. Mahathir explained the story behind the photo. He said the meeting was held after the Bersatu Supreme Council meeting to discuss the leadership's decision.
Mesyuarat ini diadakan mengikut program saya, iaitu selepas kita mengadakan mesyuarat Majlis Tertinggi Parti Peribumi, kita akan berjumpa untuk bincang keputusan Parti Peribumi, dan itulah sebabnya yang kita berjumpa. Selepas daripada perjumpaan ini, maka semua akan pergi ke istana untuk menghadap Yang Maha Mulia Tuanku Yang di-Pertuan Agong.
He revealed that during the meeting there was a suggestion for Bersatu to leave Harapan. However, Mahathir said he advised the leaders to take time to think about the decision thoroughly.
Akhirnya mereka bersetuju memberi masa kepada saya untuk bersetuju dengan cadangan mereka. Bahkan Tan Sri Muhyiddin memberi masa kepada saya selama 1 minggu untuk membuat keputusan. Namun demikian, ternampak bahawa mereka sudah merancang untuk melaksanakan keluaran daripada Pakatan Harapan.
Mahathir said he never agreed to Bersatu leaving Pakatan Harapan, but Muhyiddin had on several occasions personally coaxed him to agree for the party to exit the coalition.
Berkali-kali Tan Sri Muhyiddin datang jumpa saya seorang dan meminta supaya saya bersetuju dengan Parti Bersatu ini keluar daripada Pakatan Harapan. Saya tidaklah tolak dia sama sekali. Cuma saya kata saya akan fikir berkenaan dengan perkara ini. Tetapi saya tidak bersetuju untuk keluar.
He explained that he was part of Harapan, which won the fight to topple former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak. Therefore, it would be weird for Bersatu, which had helped to topple Najib, to be suggested to work with him. Mahathir's explanation came after the photo made its rounds on social media, where Pakatan National supporters have claimed that it proves Mahathir was in support of pulling Bersatu out of Harapan.
It was towards the end of a normal work week. A number of parties were holding their annual meetings. On Friday, February the 21st, 2020, the ruling Pakatan Harapan coalition held a rare meeting. It was in an apparent attempt to try and force Dr. Mahathir Mohamad to set an exact date to hand over power to Prime Minister-in-Waiting Anwar Ibrahim. On Saturday, February the 22nd, UMNO and PAS also began their 2-day inaugural retreat. But the next day, Sunday, February the 23rd, PKR Deputy President Azmin Ali and his supporters held a meeting at Sheraton Hotel in Petaling Jaya. By then, it was becoming increasingly clear that something was amiss.
Anwar supporters, I think, became very impatient, and it sort of led to the rift. It became worse and worse and worse. And so you have, in the meantime, Azmin thinking that he's got such a powerful power base, very close to the Prime Minister. So I would really kind of pin it down to the deep rivalry between Azmin and Anwar.
At 9 a.m. on Sunday, Prime Minister Mahathir's party, Bersatu, held a separate 6-hour-long meeting. Top of the agenda was an attempt by Dr. Mahathir's core supporters to convince the Prime Minister to leave the Pakatan Harapan coalition and form a unity government, which would include former rivals UMNO and PAS. Despite their best effort, they were not able to convince Dr. Mahathir to leave the ruling coalition. Dr. Mahathir reiterated that he was not prepared to accept UMNO members en bloc.
Publicly, I think Mahathir has been very consistent that he is not willing to work with kleptocrats. I think this has got to do with the 1MDB issue, the corruption issue, and his mission in the 2018 elections is to clean up the government. I think his message has been very consistent on the surface.
The Sheraton Move is referring to the Sheraton Hotel, the venue of the meeting organized by Azmin Ali and his cartel team, attended by Muhyiddin and members of the opposition pacts. The grand design initiated by this group, according to some observers, is among the major forces that drove Dr. Mahathir to resign and Pakatan Harapan government to collapse. To understand this event, let us take a problem-based leadership learning journey using the real-world problem scenario based on Dr. Mahathir's speech. Our intended learning outcomes are to examine the effect of the February 2020 Malaysian political crisis on the nation. To assess the role of Dr. Mahathir as a political leader during the February 2020 Malaysian political crisis. And 3, to synthesize the information gained from various sources on the February 2020 Malaysian political crisis. The problem trigger. Dr. Mahathir tendered his resignation as the 7th Prime Minister on February 24, 2020. 2 days later, on February 26, 2020, he appeared in a live telecast on national television to explain his side of the story. This is the gist of the story as reported by Bernama.
Kuala Lumpur, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said, various reasons compelled him to resign as the Prime Minister on Monday. One was that he was loath to having UMNO in the coalition government that would have been set up, said the interim Prime Minister. I am prepared to accept UMNO members who have left the party to join another. But UMNO would have joined this coalition government as a party. I cannot accept that. So, I had to resign, said Dr. Mahathir in a special address to the nation broadcast live on television and various social media platforms at 4:45 p.m. He said, he asked to be given time, but my party Bersatu, Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, decided to leave Pakatan Harapan, PH. Some members of other component parties would have left also, causing the collapse of the Pakatan Harapan government, he said. The consequence of Bersatu supporting PAS and UMNO would mean that defeated parties will have formed the government. That government will have been dominated by UMNO, as the biggest party. Dr. Mahathir's resignation, as the Prime Minister on Monday, led to all kinds of speculation, and this is the first time he has broken his silence to explain why he stepped down. The nonagenarian said he had promised to step down as the Prime Minister to let the Dewan Rakyat determine his successor. I will have returned, if it was true that I was still in favor. If not, I will have accepted whoever was chosen to be the PM, said Dr. Mahathir, who was appointed as the interim Prime Minister by the King about 6 hours after he handed in his resignation at about 1 p.m. on Monday. The opportunity existed to change the leadership, he said, in giving his perspective of what had transpired over the past few days. I felt that, as I had the support of both sides, the time for me to step down had not come, he said in explaining why he had asked for more time. Dr. Mahathir said he also felt that he apparently had the support of all quarters, leaving him with little choice as to whom to pick. At the same time, there were also allegations that he had no intention to step down as the Prime Minister because he was power crazy, he said. I resigned because I do not see power and position as the be-all and end-all as my objective. For me, power and position are a means to an end, or a tool to achieve the objective. And the objective of us all is the well-being of the nation. That is why I chose to resign, as I could see that for politicians, the most important thing is which party rules, regardless of whether it is a defeated party or not, he said in his 6-minute address from his office in Putrajaya. Pranama.
This story is the highest of Dr. Mahathir's problem-based learning point while leading Pakatan Harapan government. Analysis of the problem-based leadership exploration indicates the presence of strong elements of 3 C's: the content, the context and the connection in this story. Therefore, this story is among the best problem triggers for the problem-based leadership learning exploration of Dr. Mahathir's political leadership in the year of Mahathir, or this year of 2020. The diagnostic phase. In this simulation, we are going to use a FacTILA approach. Step 1, to identify the facts from the problem. Step 2, to identify the terms and conduct the cross-reference. Step 3, to generate ideas from the facts. Step 4, to generate learning issues. And Step 5, plan for self-directed learning or action plan. Step 1, identify the facts from the problem. Based on the above, the previous problem trigger, we could examine and explore the problem through the diagnostic process of a FacTILA. The problem should be separated into manageable parts.
Fact 1. Kuala Lumpur, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said, various reasons compelled him to resign as the Prime Minister on Monday. Fact 2. What was that? He was loath to having UMNO in the coalition government that would have been set up, said the interim Prime Minister. Fact 3. I am prepared to accept UMNO members who have left the party to join another. But UMNO would have joined this coalition government as a party. I cannot accept that. So, I had to resign, said Dr. Mahathir in a special address to the nation broadcast live on television and various social media platforms at 4:45 p.m. Fact 4. He said, he asked to be given time, but my party Bersatu, Party Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, decided to leave Pakatan Harapan, PH. Fact 5. Some members of other component parties would have left also, causing the collapse of the Pakatan Harapan government, he said. Fact 6. The consequence of Bersatu supporting PAS and UMNO would mean that defeated parties will have formed the government. That government will have been dominated by UMNO, as the biggest party. Fact 7. Dr. Mahathir's resignation, as the Prime Minister on Monday, led to all kinds of speculation, and this is the first time he has broken his silence to explain why he stepped down. Fact 8. The nonagenarian said he had promised to step down as the Prime Minister to let the Dewan Rakyat determine his successor. Fact 9. I will have returned if it was true that I was still in favor. If not, I will have accepted whoever was chosen to be the PM, said Dr. Mahathir, who was appointed as the interim Prime Minister by the King about 6 hours after he handed in his resignation at about 1 p.m. on Monday. Fact 10. The opportunity existed to change the leadership, he said, in giving his perspective of what had transpired over the past few days. Fact 11. I felt that, as I had the support of both sides, the time for me to step down had not come, he said in explaining why he had asked for more time. Fact 12. Dr. Mahathir said he also felt that he apparently had the support of all quarters, leaving him with little choice as to whom to pick. Fact 13. At the same time, there were also allegations that he had no intention to step down as the Prime Minister because he was power crazy, he said. Fact 14. I resigned because I do not see power and position as the be-all and end-all as my objective. For me, power and position are a means to an end, or a tool to achieve the objective. And the objective of us all is the well-being of the nation. Fact 15. That is why I chose to resign, as I could see that for politicians, the most important thing is which party rules, regardless of whether it is a defeated party or not, he said in his 6-minute address from his office in Putrajaya. Pranama.
Step 2. Identify the terms and conduct the cross-reference. The second step is to identify terms, including important terminologies, abbreviations, unique phrases, proper names, or any strange or difficult to understand words. Learners will apply cross-reference to dictionaries, thesaurus or encyclopedias or any other related sources instantly. This is the list of terms identified from the above problem trigger and the result of cross-reference step. 1 is a means to an end, 2 be all and end all, 3 bernama, 4 bersatu, 5. Coalition Government. 6. Dr. Mahathir. 7. Kuala Lumpur. 8. Pakatan Harapan. 9. PAS. 10. Politicians. 11. Power Crazy. 12. Putrajaya. 13. Social media platforms. 14. The Dewan Rakyat. 15. The Interim Prime Minister. 16. The King. 17. The Nation Broadcast. 18. The Non-Engineering. And 19. The Prime Minister. And 20. UMNO. To get a quick explanation on each of these terms, phrases and proper names, learners should conduct a cross-reference from dictionaries, thesaurus, encyclopedias or any other related resources. For instance, the phrase a means to an end, the thesaurus explains, if you say that something is a means to an end, you mean that it helps you to achieve what you want, although it may not be enjoyable or important itself. The related discipline areas is linguistic. Viewers are welcome to explore the rest of the terms. Please refer to the discussion in chapter 10 of my book. Step 3. Generate ideas from the facts. The third step is to generate ideas or hypotheses from the facts. At this point, learners should be able to relate their prior knowledge to the facts and propose new ideas to describe their understanding upon the facts. The ideas might be something closely related to the facts or interconnected in some way or another. Ideas or hypothesis generation is a crucial step in the diagnostic process. Learners working in a group engage in a higher order thinking skill activities through a discussion, argumentation, and sometimes debates and disputes to come into the conclusion. Prior knowledge and skills are crucially important and helpful. Based on the facts identified above, we could generate as many as ideas or hypotheses to expand our understanding upon the problem. For instance, from fact number 1, Kuala Lumpur, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said various reasons compel him to resign as a Prime Minister on Monday. The ideas are: 1. Many reasons forced Dr. Mahathir to resign. 2. Outside and inside pressures must have been the reason. Viewers are welcome to list some more ideas from each fact identified previously. Please refer to the discussion in chapter 10 of my book. Learners should not limit hypotheses while working in a group. They should take some time to expand the hypothesis as broad as they could and then continue to evaluate the most appropriate related ideas based on their previous knowledge and understanding of the facts. Again, 2 hits are better than 1. Step number 4, generate learning issues. Better understanding of the connection between facts and ideas is useful for the next step to generate the learning issues. Each idea should trigger the learners to constantly question what they need to learn further. Learners should learn how to ask good questions related to each idea. A good question will lead to proper learning issues related to the problem trigger. Learning issues comprise of the multidisciplinary nature of the problem. It was well known to us that every problem in the world is naturally multifaceted and made of various interconnected questions and requires a multidisciplinary solution.
Here is an example of the author's piloted learning issues for Fact 1. Kuala Lumpur, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said, various reasons compelled him to resign as the Prime Minister on Monday. Idea 1. Many reasons forced Dr. Mahathir to resign. The learning issues are: 1. What are the reasons? 2. When was Dr. Mahathir appointed as the Prime Minister? 3. How did Dr. Mahathir become the Prime Minister? 4. Who or which parties are forcing Dr. Mahathir to resign? Idea 2. Outside and inside pressures must have been the reasons. The learning issues are: 1. What are the outside pressures? 2. What are the inside pressures? Viewers are welcome to generate more learning issues from the facts and ideas identified. Please refer to the discussion in Chapter 10 of the book, Mahathir, The Art of Political Leadership.
Step number 5, plan for self-directed learning or action plan. Having identified and listed the learning issues, learners should be able to plan for their self-directed learning exploration. The process of planning for self-directed learning exploration called action plan. Action plan is the final step in the diagnostic phase. The success of the PBI process very much depends on the readiness of the learners to explore the question posed in the learning issues. In-depth investigation upon the learning issues through rigorous debates and argumentation will strengthen the knowledge acquisition and develop a new perspective upon the issue. At the highest level of learning outcomes, the learners might be able to create a new body of knowledge. To facilitate our self-directed learning exploration, please refer to Chapter 10 of my book. Take your learning journey to the precursor events that brought about the Sheraton Move And don't forget to explore other related sources outside the book. Malcolm Nowell's 1970 defined self-directed learning as the process in which individuals take the initiative with or without the help of others in diagnosing their learning needs, formulating learning goals, identifying human and material resources for learning, choosing and implementing learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. Self-directed learning implies that you are deciding for yourself what you will learn and how you will learn it. You are directing your own learning activities. You are in charge. No one tells you what you must learn or decides which method is the best one for you to use. No one dictates when and where you must be in class. No one decides what is important for you to learn or what is not important. Professor Warren G. Bennis, founding chairman of the Leadership Institute, University of Southern California, wrote in his book on becoming a leader. Leaders learn by leading, and they learn best by leading in the face of obstacles. As weather shapes mountains, problems shape leaders. Bennis' statement addresses the two most crucial points. First, as leaders, we should learn actively and independently by doing, not by solely reading or listening to others passively. Reading is good, but it defeats the purpose if we could not apply the lessons we read. Listening is also good, but it will also defeat the purpose if we only listen to judge, not to learn. This first part of Professor Bennis' statement pointed towards the learning process and approach, the self-directed learning. Second, the best way to learn is to face problems. There is no specific syllabus or learning content for leaders to learn except facing the problems. Hence, problems are the syllabus and the content.